Hello, I'm Nancy Reagan, and I want you musicians out there to just say no. Hails, minions and mortals, this is approaching Nancy Reagan haircut Fang von Rathenstein from the most metal band on earth, the Lords of the Trident. It's nice to be wanted. When you work hard enough and become reasonably successful, you'll start to become known as a person who can get things done. If you're anything like me, this translates into others asking you for help. Or perhaps instead of waiting to be asked, you volunteer your time helping others. This can be an incredibly enriching and rewarding experience, but it comes with a caveat. You must be careful not to spread yourself too thin. At some point, you will have to learn to say no. Whether or not you're the leader of your band, and I'm assuming that most of the people who watch these videos are, you should start to cultivate the ability to say no to things. Honestly, you'll end up being surprised at how mastering this power will change the way your band and your life works. There are a number of different situations where it's helpful to take a step back. First and foremost, the most important. Number one, saying no when you're spread too thin. Agreeing to help comes naturally to some of us. After all, we want to be a person who's dependable, a good friend, a leader, etc. Helping others reinforces that feeling in ourselves and just plain feels good. Remember those airplane safety instructions that we almost always ignore? If there's a loss of cabin pressure, air mask will deploy from the ceiling. Secure your own mask before assisting others. They don't say this to be selfish. They say this because if you're gonna help those around you, you need to be of sound mind and body first. Otherwise, you may end up accidentally hurting instead of helping. Destin from Smarter Every Day did a great video on this topic, which you should totally check out. I put a link in the description. A wise person once said something that stuck with me. You cannot give away what you don't have. If you live your life jumping from one thing to the next, overscheduled, constantly pulled in different directions by the 50 things you agreed to do, you're going to be giving away a frazzled and stressed you. No one wants that. If you're going to help someone, you want to be able to give them your complete attention and calm presence. If you're stressed out, that's not going to happen. This one may be the hardest no to get used to, but it will improve your life drastically. Before you agree to become someone's tour manager or tutor their bandmates on screen printing techniques, ask yourself, if I add this to my schedule, would I be able to give my complete attention without feeling stressed? If there's even an inkling of no, then you have your answer right there. Two, saying no when you're being taken for granted. Jerks exist in this world, and most of them got that way by only thinking about themselves. Some people will assume you'll always help them for free, or that your time is not as valuable as theirs. Think about it this way. Would you work for a company for free out of the goodness of your heart? Absolutely not! The company you work for is making money from your efforts, and you need to be compensated for that effort. With friends and acquaintances, this can be a little tricky. When you're running your life on limited time, that time becomes a valuable commodity. At some point, you're gonna have to put a dollar value on an hour of your life, especially if you're doing something that you would normally do as a job or an activity that someone would normally pay a professional to accomplish. For example, let's say that your day job is a computer repair technician and you get paid, I don't know, 20 bucks an hour. If your friend's sister's cousin has a virus that he needs help removing, you have two questions to answer before you agree to help. First, is it worth your time to help him for free? If not, how much is your time worth? $20 an hour is what you get paid at work, but in my opinion, your free time is much more valuable. How much is it worth to you to give up an hour of your non-work time? $40? $60? Deciding on this number ahead of time helps prevent you from being taken for granted. Pause this video for just a moment and decide your number right now. Got the number? Cool. Now the next time you're asked, you'll know exactly what to say. So you might rightfully ask, Fang, how does this apply to my band? Well, two ways. Number three, saying no when you don't agree. There's a difference between playing nice and sacrificing you or your band's integrity. When writing music, making posters, creating music videos, or doing just about anything creative, you have to be comfortable vocalizing when something just doesn't feel right. If you're in a metal band and your drummer is playing interpretive jazz over a brutal tremolo picking part, that's probably just not going to fly. You have to be comfortable voicing your dissent and explaining why. Notice that I'm not specifically telling you to say no. Why? Well, putting your foot down without any chance to change your mind is poison to any sort of collaborative creativity. If you hold the veto stamp and don't give anyone else a chance to persuade you or try something a little different, you'll be seen as a tyrant. It's okay to say you don't like something, but it's not okay to prevent discussion on the matter. If you're open to letting an idea you don't initially agree with grow and change, you may be surprised at how it may become something that everyone likes. 4. Saying no when the situation just plain sucks. Look, I know most of us want nothing more than to play as many shows as we can before we turn 80 and die on stage from a fatal microphone electrocution accident. I get it. But sometimes you can smell a bad gig from a mile away. For example,
hey man, you want to come out and play this bar in the middle of nowhere? You have to bring the sound equipment and everything, but we can give you free beer.
Hey, I got an opening for you guys on our fest. It's on day 2. It's at 10 a.m. You'll be the first one. Pretty cool.
Check it out, bro. It's a 6-band bill. We were hoping you guys could, headline.
Or the best one, and this is completely true.
Would you like to volunteer to play my backyard for a bunch of homeless people?
If you've started to establish yourself in your region, you're not doing yourself any favors by playing these nickel and dime shows. Before you wind up hauling your entire sound system to some dude's backyard, ask yourself, is this show going to help us in the long run? Does it help to be the band that always plays for free at every benefit show? Are you doing anything for your career by playing the exact same bar every Tuesday night for the same 8 people? Is playing that Monday night show with 6 other bands 3 hours away really going to open you up to a new fan base? Or are you just going to end up playing to an empty room? There's another reason to say no that's been brought to the forefront by COVID. Saying no when the situation is unsafe. The channel Cover Band Confidential had a really great video on this recently, and their point was to ask yourself if, firstly, you feel safe playing. If so, ask yourself if you'd feel safe inviting your very close family members to this show, like wife, kids, whatever. That's a pretty great litmus test for bands that need to play live to survive. But for me, personally, I think it's best to focus more on offstage activities until we've got a vaccine. I know that I'm saying this from a place of privilege because we've got the setup to live stream and make videos, so take that for what it's worth. But if you think about it, there's no 100% surefire way to tell if someone is infected, and in-person concerts are full of accidents waiting to happen. Ordering drinks, using the bathroom, entering and exiting the area, or just the random super drunk guy getting way too close to everybody is an easy vector for viruses to spread.
Hey Steve! Hey man, I haven't seen you in ages. It's so good. It's great to see you.
It sucks. This whole timeline sucks, and I certainly don't want it to be this way, but I also don't want my decision to be the reason that someone dies, even if I don't know them. So right now, I think you just have to say no. If you're gonna grow as a band, you've gotta have a good reason to play a show other than it's fun. You're going to war, so you better have a battle plan. Start experimenting with saying no this week and see where it gets you. You may find that it makes you happier than you think. But one thing you shouldn't say no to is joining the most metal army on the internet. Jump on over to our Patreon and sign up today for amazing prizes, free music, this hair, early access, and more. And if you are on the Patreon, then you are the coolest person I know. Digital high five! Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Stay metal.